accuser. Ludwig van Beethoven played an instrument known as the pianoforte because he was capable of playing both loudly and softly. In Italian, as you know, piano is soft and forte is loud. A little more about my mother and my mother-in-law, who first met in a music theory class at BYU in the 1950s. They had birthdays one day apart the same year. They both played the cello and the organ and many other musical instruments, as they were both certifying in music education. In 1960, they were both married to sailors and took turns playing the same ward organ in San Diego, where they both gave birth to sons. Both of their husbands served in the Navy and attended BYU. They took turns living in the same apartment in Provo, where Karen and I were first introduced. Karen was wearing a diaper, 2 weeks old, and I was wearing a kitty costume in October. In the 1970s, my parents drove our family from Southern California to a quarterly conference in the Salt Lake Tabernacle. That was the first time I ever heard a pin drop in the Tabernacle on Temple Square, and the only time that our family swam in the Great Salt Lake. We never stayed in hotels, so we camped out in Karen's front yard on a busy street in Sandy, Utah. That's how we were formally introduced as teenagers. The rest is family history, as we were married in the Provo Temple over 43 years ago. Karen's mother, who is no longer with us, grew up in this ward, attended this building, and learned to play this organ from Harley Belknap. Karen's grandparents, Alvin and Electa Monson, raised their family on Center Street and attended church meetings in this chapel. The day before I entered the MTC in Provo, in January of '79, after I flew from Ontario, California to Salt Lake, I stayed overnight on Center Street in Karen's grandparents' house, Alvin and Electa Monson. And their youngest son is here with us today, Ken Monson. Good to have you here. Prior to that event, I had my farewell in Barstow and a piano recital that evening in Barstow that included Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms, as well as Debussy. Today I'm featuring Bach, who composed and played these two preludes on a harpsichord, not on a pure pianoforte. You'll hear the difference between Beethoven and Bach as I play. Paul Cardall once quoted Bach as saying, "Music is for the glory of God and the delight of the soul."